trying to get disconnected. I got a phone call. I do this on my phone. I don't get all that recording stuff. Maybe someday when I grow up. But my gosh, if you swap pantyhose with your mom, that is, how sweet is that? That is pretty sweet. Anyway, I got a phone call and it interrupted the live, and I didn't know how to get the live to start working again. So I'm really sorry I got disconnected. I didn't know that was going to happen. I don't usually get phone calls on weekends. So I apologize. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to learn how to. Yay! I know. I was too. I was like, what happened? So I don't know if it unhooks again like that. At least I'll know what's going on. It'll be hard to tell. Okay, so I don't know about my hair today because I think what I'm gonna do is keep it loose and comfortable, because later I'm going to take a long hot bath and soak. I have a lot of work to do. I'm way behind on laundry. I need to clean out the refrigerator. I got another shelf for storage, and I need to put that together. I need to take some things out to my storage shed. Yeah, right. So I just think I like to take a long hot bath once a week or two and put salt in it and just soak, get all the dead skin off, relax all the muscles, and do nothing. And that's when sometimes I can relax with listening to some YouTube channels. That's kind of fun. You've been pretty busy lately? And do some skincare? Yes, yes. My skin, you know what? If I did not worry about my skin when I was 20, and I know that there were some people who were, but they weren't in my circle. If they were, I didn't know it. My brain was way too I'll tell you what, Nightflower, we have a lot in common. That's awesome. I didn't worry about my skin. So I'll tell you, 88, especially if you like to be comforted by feminine things as you age, you may be grateful that you took care of your skin starting now. I wish I had thought about it when I was younger. I don't know about all the sunscreen and stuff. I really have never trusted sunscreen. It came out and everybody just started using it. And I do use this on my face. It doesn't smell pretty. It really doesn't smell like anything. But I use this. I recommend it because my skin is thank you, Flower. Because I use it under foundation because my skin is older and drier, but it's not greasy. So, I think I would have had less sunspots. So even though I didn't really trust sunscreen back then, I didn't want to spend the money on that. I would have rather spent every penny on partying and traveling and being young. But makeup and sunscreen and hair spray, those are things that I just didn't. And really, I traveled a lot. I lived in Illinois. I lived in several different states because I was kind of but my home state is Illinois. So I'm a Midwest girl, farm girl, so to speak, to the bone. But if I got a wild hair or another relationship, I packed up everything and I pack up my car and go, or I would jump in theirs. I mean, oh my gosh. All the times that I started over for love or boredom. The only international that I've done was a few cruises, and I went to Spain for about a month. That was an incredible experience. I love that. I'll talk about that a little bit more in depth. But one of my favorite parts about that was I was told over and over again, because I went with a partner who was working all the time, and I got to just hang out in the hotel. I've never been to Asia. I've been to Canada, Spain, Seville, and just cruise ship stops. But I was a month in there. But Asia, no. You been to Asia? That just sounds so exotic. The thing with Spain was that they really what hotel was I staying? It was a very nice hotel, and I loved the location. Oh my gosh, it was kind of downtown on the roundabout. I just couldn't. I love Japan. Oh, you went to Bangkok? Wow. What were you doing there? Sightseeing? Was it a vacation? Were you working? And I'll bet the food was amazing. I didn't care for the food where I was at in Spain. The area was mostly high-end restaurants. The restaurant in the hotel was, you were meeting a friend for a bit of work? Yeah. The food in it, very, I don't know, it wasn't like Americanized Spanish food. And it was Spanish cuisine. And it was so rich. And they ate a lot of meat. And it was just, it was in old town. It was just, the architecture was amazing. Some of the newer things were in between. They had a Burger King in the mall across from the hotel, but it didn't taste the same. I love food. Yes, I went for a lot of long walks. I love art. I love museums. Honey, a passport's a good idea. Because even if you don't use it, you got it. You've got it. You can be ready. When I was younger, I just didn't have a lot of fear. I think I was just so self-centered. I thought I could handle anything. Today, however, if I were young again, I would hope that I would be a little more careful about how many times I go off by myself and act like I can do anything. I put myself in risky situations several times. They did not always pan out well, but most of the times they did. So I'm not saying be chicken. I'm just saying be smart. Do your research. My mouth is watering because I'm like, I know, please do your research. But yeah, get a passport. We still need a passport even for Canada. You would think that we've been next door to each other for so long. I don't know. I don't understand all that politics and borders as well as I should. I do know that I want to feel safe. But I thought it was interesting. Um, yeah, passports just seem so extreme for Canada because we all speak a similar language. We have similar lifestyles, similar goals, similar upbringing, similar um, life experiences, much different than down south. Where am I from? Yeah, it's nice. I'm from Illinois, United States. And I like Canada. I like the Niagara Falls area, Canada side. I like the countryside in Canada at different places along the border. But I just don't want to be that cold that often, that much rain. How's my puppy? Look, can you believe this? Look at that mud. Okay, well, you're in Pennsylvania? So, that's beautiful country. Sure text Penny. Oh, really? I always do. When I wore pantyhose, I wore legs, Leggs, back in the day. And I think that's what that football player used that I told you about, because they felt like tights. And there are also some pantyhose that are more like silk. You pull them up and they're like wearing the thinnest of a pair of slacks. But those legs, oh, they would just hug and tight and move. Yeah. Yeah. That's cool that your mom and you are buddies enough that you can share pantyhose. It's just too cute. I know. I would love to hear from you, and after you read the book Getting to I Do and do some of the testing, I would absolutely love to know what you think of that book. You're 20, so you don't necessarily need to match up. You don't need to say I do. You don't need to be getting married. I'm not saying any of that. No. Matter of fact, I recommend that book hardly ever because I'm trying to help someone in their romantic relationship. What I do is I'm helping, that book can help you get to know yourself, what you have to offer and what you might be looking for as far as friends, as far as jobs, as far as a romantic partner someday. If you ever even want one. Some people absolutely don't even need one. I did. I was very needy. I didn't want to ever admit I was needy, but I was needy. But I had no idea what I had to offer when I was young. It was a huge struggle. And I really was confused on how I presented. Sometimes I would present, thank you, I hope you get that. But it's very inexpensive on Amazon, especially if you get it used. And if somebody's already taken the test in there, just ignore it and write in the margins or whatever. Don't let that bother you. So I need to brush my hair. I can't go out there in the main part of the house like that. So I think it's getting to know ourselves. The more we get to know ourselves, the more we can spot our halt, hungry, angry, lonely, tired, the more we can fulfill our needs. One of the things that I learned about myself years ago was I loved to travel. I had a Ford Bronco that the back seats could lay down flat, and I would always have a bag packed. I always had an extra toiletry bag packed with extra makeup, which I didn't need much at the time. And oh God, that feels so good. And I get off work on Friday or whenever. If I didn't have a side job going on or some contract work, I jumped in that Ford and I hit the open road. It's true. You'd like to find a nice girl? Long distance relationships. Well, I was always too needy for long distance relationships. When I was younger, I was needy. I needed the attention, the physical attention. And I needed to know that they were thinking of me. And that's hard to do if you're not very wealthy and sending gifts, right? And back then, when I was younger, we didn't have FaceTime and all that. But that wouldn't have mattered. I was still going to be jealous, insecure, and lonely. FaceTime doesn't do it if you're wanting physical touch. Like I did. I wanted physical touch. And I wanted to know what's mine is mine. Now there are a lot of horrible long distance relationships that last a very long time because people cannot let go of that trauma drama that they probably grew up with, or the trauma of having an unavailable parent. A lot of people who had unavailable parents will seek someone who echoes that so they can somehow resolve winning their parent back. Not that it's this incestuous thing. Don't get that mixed up. It's about finally being able to be successful at winning someone over who basically been emotionally abandoned by. Long distance relationships are not a rhythm that humans usually have. That's only started oh gosh, I guess since airplanes really caught on in the 70s, 80s. You're young, so it seems like 5 years, 10 years is forever. But relatively speaking, to be able to fly back and forth, it's very expensive. What you say makes so much sense. Yeah, we're not really built for that. We're built to live together for generations, to support each other, to hug each other, to cook for each other, to clean up together, to build together. Now, here's the thing too, even if you really get along well, even if you have a lot of the same goals, if you don't live in the same town, same county, you don't really know each other's friends. You don't really know each other's daily habits. My spouse and I were in a long distance relationship, and he bent over backwards to prove that he would be a good provider and that he would protect me. But that's a lot different than being able to prove to me that we would get along every day or most days, that our personalities would help comfort each other. Yeah, lesson learned. I've had a friend who's been in the LDR. What's LDR? I'm drawing a blank. I'm sorry, hon. Oh, That's why I've moved around so many times. I'm sorry. Oh, people don't use those acronyms like that. Very. Thank you. Like OMG. I finally got onto that, and somebody says we don't do that anymore. So I don't know. Thank you. Whenever I've had a lover move away, I packed my things up and went because I was too needy. My current relationship, we were long distance for 2.5 years. We lived 8 hours away from each other. And he asked me to date long distance. And I said no. And I said, because if I want to go on a date, if I want to go out to dinner, if I want to go to a movie, and somebody says, oh, I'll go with you, or I'd love to take you. Or I said, I'm going to take whatever company's available, male or female. So, and if you want to call it a date, okay, I like dates. I'm sorry, I'm not doing long distance. And so he said, if you ever want to do anything, give me 5 hours and I will be there. So for 2.5 years, he spent more time in my town than out of town. And if I said I was going to do something, he was usually at my front door within 5 hours. I mean, it was almost like it wasn't long distance. It was weird. And that's when, after 2.5 years, he was there a lot. That's when he said, it's right. Yeah. Now I just didn't really consider it a long distance. It's just that I was in Illinois and his work was in Missouri and Tennessee. So I didn't know his family well. I had only seen them, on major holidays or major events, which was just a couple times a year. And I didn't know how he behaved when he was relaxed and just hanging out. Because when he was there, he was always just, I don't know what. Oh no, honey, go ahead. You're so young as far as how long you have been thinking romantic partnership. You've been thinking, I think, for a while in the realm of friendships. So you're going to confuse, you can't help it. You're going to confuse what it's like to be a friend to your romantic partner versus attached like a romantic partner, right? You're young enough and secure enough at home with your mom that you may be able to have a long distance relationship for a while, because your adult hormones have not kicked in and stabilized firmly or consistently. Being 20, right? I think you said 20. Let me go back and look. 22, 20 or 22. I do remember that. Oh, it's way back there. Hormones don't usually level off till you're in your late 20s. That's what studies have shown. So, you're in your late 20s? I don't know. You may be a lot more mature. Oh, how did I get you mixed up? Janice, please forgive me. Yes, thank you. Yes, I've been talking to um Night 88 in my thinking. I'm so sorry, Janice. Please forgive me. Okay. So you're in your late 20s. I know. I'm such a dork. Sorry. I know. You may have stabilized pretty well. And from our past conversations, Janice, you're fairly mature for your age. And I'm thinking if you want to explore a long distance relationship, you might be mature enough to get it, right? Thank you. Thank you for letting me off the hook. I was never mature enough to handle a long distance relationship. I've always known that. Matter of fact, I think if you can't handle a long distance relationship, you know immediately. And if you question, I wonder if I could handle a long distance relationship, you might be able to handle it for a while. If you have a goal on what your relationship is going to look like eventually and how you're going to get there. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Long distance is just not right. It's not human at all. I've never thought a long distance. I had one of the nicest boyfriends on the planet. Seriously. But I was not willing to do long distance. And I was not willing to move back to the Pacific Northwest. That banana belt area is what some people call it. It's just like tropical. It's raining most days and cloudy most days to some degree. There's 50 types of gray there, 50 types of rain, and I just couldn't do it anymore. And he had a wonderful job, made good money, one of the nicest, considerate, thoughtful, giving, follow through, creative kind of guys, and masculine at the same time. Very interesting combo, but and he volunteered. He said, well, let's do long distance. We'll see each other this often. He had a plan. I'm like, that's not often enough. I'm sorry. Oh, it was heartbreaking. I was so disappointed. I said, I'll live anywhere in the United States of America as long as it's somewhere that's sunny most days. And it was just like, I can't give up this job. I'm like, okay. Dang it. It wasn't that easy. Seriously. It was a lot more than dang it. Ugh. I hate breakups. Especially when they're with somebody who's such a good catch, you know? Such a good catch. Dang it. You know what? My makeup table's a little cluttered. I think I'm going to have to add that to my list. Also, I have some little containers that I got from Temu that have the lid and the little tub. Late 20s. Oh my God, you're adorable, Flower. You're getting set in your ways. Yeah. Or maybe you're just getting to know yourself and starting to accept certain parts of you. You know, that book, Getting to I Do, it was really eye-opening for me. My AA sponsor is the one who turned me on to that book. She scolded me for getting into yet another relationship she didn't exactly approve of. She said I couldn't get into another serious relationship until I read that book and did the homework in it. Terrible. Thank you. But I'm going to make some lip gloss. I've got enough lipsticks in here that I just don't really like the color. So it's been a while, but one of the things I like to do is get a little tub and put different lipsticks in it, mix it with Vaseline till I get one that can go on kind of clear. Because I've got so much lipstick here that I don't want to throw it all away, but it's not making a great lipstick. It'll make a good lip gloss. You know what I mean? You know what? If you don't have a jar of... okay. I don't know why people use lip liner. Because it does nothing. It's just another lipstick. It doesn't keep lipstick from getting into your wrinkles. It doesn't last. I've just been sitting here talking with you. It doesn't last. Where in the heck? How do you... This is brand new. Oops. That's it? That's it? That's all this pencil has to offer? Well, that was a waste of money, LA Colors. You can't be serious. No. What? There must be a way to... oh, okay. I found the twist at the bottom. See, this broke. Okay, anyway. If I'm going to use lip liner, I want it to be something that doesn't wash off. I want it to be nice and almost permanent, you know? You gotta look for a lip liner that's not just an inexpensive lip liner and that advertises that it's a stain. Because when you have older skin like I do, which you'll have someday, it and with pale skin like this with very little lip liner, like some people have nice lips, right? But as you age, believe it or not, the distance between your nose and the top of your lip expands because of gravity. See, when you're younger, I don't know, this is... you have more lips. So when you have a lip liner, and you can make your lips a little bigger with lip liner, and because I don't have a nice edge on my lips, see how soft they are? It's not a nice pucker like that. Some people have a nice edge. You know what? I looked very much the same, except that I didn't have, weirdly, I looked a lot the same. It's just the jaws right here weren't quite so, they weren't heavy. And my eyebrows were almost exactly where they are. My eyelids were always puffy and hanging over. And there was just a little less distance here. And I didn't have that baggy, wrinkly neck. Some people change a lot from when they were younger. But if you look at the pictures I had, I have very few pictures, but the pictures I do have, I look, everybody, even from second grade, has always recognized me when they see me someplace. They'll go, April? Yeah, it's true. It's true. One of these days, I was thinking about doing a Zoom when I get some time. I know I've threatened this before. Do a Zoom or figure out how to do YouTube and bring people in. I don't know how to do that. But I was looking at Plum was talking about WhatsApp, but I can't seem to get into WhatsApp without, oh my God, they want so much security clearance. So it's just like, I don't know if I want all my stuff in there. I had it in the military, but, oh, you're so sweet. Well, like every flower, not every flower is meant for everybody. So I was more of a daisy or tiger lily. I was never a rose or a violet. I always loved violets, though. I was a strong statement. And I wasn't graceful. So I think I would describe myself as a tiger little lily. Oh, excuse me. Or a daisy. Hey, hun. Yeah. I had 21 years in the Air National Guard. And I retired a couple years ago for the COVID thing because I was under a lot of stress, was taking care of my spouse who had a lot of medical issues. It was just, that hungry, angry, lonely, tired. It finally got to a place where if I didn't do something drastic to take care of myself, it was going to be a problem. I was in supply where when airplanes or vehicles need certain parts, I was in warehouse supply. So we would go and pull their parts, package them up, and head them out, whether it was at their building, at their shop, or out on the flight line. And then as I was promoted, I was lucky and got to stay in the warehouse in one way or another. Then I went to clothing issue. So I was there to help people get their uniforms. I know, not very glamorous, but boy, it was a step up, I thought, in my feminine journey. Thank you. And then I finally retired as a first sergeant, meaning instead of working in a warehouse, I worked from an office, but made sure that my commanders and my troops got their emotional or military needs met. Sort of a human resources person. It was I loved that. I loved that. That was the job I always wanted. I joined after 9/11. I used to be very patriotic. And also, I was going through a divorce about that same time. So I was also a little suicidal. So I thought, I'll go to Iraq. I know. I fell for all that political crap. I didn't understand that it was so much more complicated than it was told by the news, the media. So, but I'm glad I did it, and because I was in over 20 years, that means if you go that route, you'll be able to get a little mailbox money. You'll get a retirement check. But it just depends on, oh, you're welcome, hon. Oh, you're welcome. I just had a chance to look at the clock. I gotta go. I gotta get on with my to-do list. Will you have a wonderful day, hon? It was so nice chatting with you. And I want to get more of your story. I love getting to know you. You have been a joy to me. Having this channel and just the little conversations we get to have, you really are a blessing. I can't believe you're not older than your late 20s. Because your energy is so sweet. But it doesn't seem naive. You seem generous, level-headed, wise, interested, interesting. That's all pretty cool. Okay, hon. Mwah. Bye for now. Oh, how do you do this? All right. Okay. See you next time.